Here.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And good morning, this is Mike Lodge, the business advisor, and I'm glad that you've joined me. It's a beautiful day, starting today anyway. Yesterday, here in South Carolina, the weather started to warm up. Now, I'm reading the weather forecast for the majority of the nation, and it looks like it's getting cold. California is actually predicted up in the San Francisco Bay Area to get snow. So, listen, we have a strange weather pattern that's getting colder and colder. Now, here in South Carolina, yesterday we got up to about 74 degrees. I had to open up all my doors and my windows and turn on the fans, the ceiling fans, to kind of cool it down. We're supposed to get the same kind of weather today. So I don't know if we're going to get cold weather out of this storm that's flowing out of the Arctic and down to California. Maybe it's going to come across there. I don't know. I haven't studied the weather that long. Listen, we have a problem. We have a problem. And that is that I have always said, and I keep saying this, to know what the economy is doing is to know how the American people are doing financially in their own personal finances. And right now, we're not doing so good. We're not doing so hot. We're not in a good position. The president keeps saying, and members of Congress keep promoting the idea that the economy is so good and jobs are out there. You know, on that jobs front, listen, the president said that he has created, 12 point some million new jobs. He hasn't. Okay? Those jobs are now refilling the 20 million that were gone during the pandemic. So that 20 million is now getting filled back with employees calling back their employees, former employees, the laid off employees. So he did not create that. I mean, yes, jobs have increased, but it's because we had 20 million that we had to put back into the workforce. Anyway, our own personal debt crisis is brewing. Delinquencies are rising for mortgage loans. That's a bad sign. Auto loans and credit card loans are rising on their delinquencies. That is not good for this economy. Now, as personal savings generated from the pandemic assistance programs, all those stimulus programs that you all were getting, I never got one dime from it. Our personal balance sheets, our personal finances are deteriorating very quickly here. Household debt jumped 8.5%, or $394 billion in 2022 to $16.9 trillion, according to the Federal Reserve data cited by Moody's Investor Service. The debt has climbed a hefty $2.75 trillion, or 19% since the fourth quarter of 2019, prior to the COVID pandemic. That's not good news. That means that all of us are using our credit cards because inflation has pounded down on the wages that we're currently earning. Now, then we talk about residential mortgages. They accounted for 86%, or $2.37 billion, for that 3-year increase. Low interest rates prior to the Federal Reserve's rate hike campaign that began in March of 2022 sparked the mortgage increase, according to Moody's. So in recent quarters, debt has shifted strongly to credit cards. Credit card balances grew at multi-decade highs, soaring to 15.2% in 2022. And they are expecting credit card loan demand to stay strong in the coming quarters. And that's true because inflation has not died down. Slightly, but not enough. Food prices are still up there. they have not come down. It's like when you buy an egg, you're buying a college tuition. I mean, that's how expensive these food prices have come. So meanwhile, Americans are starting to have trouble paying back their loans. The rate of new household debt delinquencies increased 17 basis points to 2.82% of total loans in the fourth quarter from the third quarter and 79 basis points from a year ago. So we're not in good shape. If we are having delinquencies rise on home loans and auto loans, especially now that home mortgage rates may go up. We are talking about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates in about 50 points. So we are in trouble. On the automobile front, new auto loan delinquencies registered 6.64% in the fourth quarter, up 43 basis points from the third quarter. The rate is now just 27 basis points below the 2019 level of 6.91%. As for mortgages, delinquency rates remain low at the moment, but they're rising at 2.25% in the fourth quarter and up from 1.57% a year earlier. Banks have been more cautious without granting mortgage loans since the housing crisis of 27 and 10 through 10. Bottom line, the data that we're looking at support the expectation of a recession. But I'm telling you right now, we are in a recession. We have been in a recession for a long time. We have the situation that we have had inflation for so many months now. Almost 2 years now, we've had this inflation going on. Now, remember what economists have said: if we have 4 quarters of inflation, that means we're in a recession. We have had way more than 4 quarters. I tell you, it's just something that I don't get. I just don't get. There was one article that I wanted to talk about also, and it's about people who are expecting raises. And the problem is that employers are now saying that the raises are going to be very small this year because the U.S. wage growth is going to slow down. Companies are expected to dole out smaller raises this year. At least that's according to the leading research firm, and that could be good news. Normally, robust wage growth is a good thing for workers in the economy. But the Federal Reserve officials are hoping hefty average pay increases moderate to cool inflation off. Because remember, the higher the amount of money you have, the more debt you go into, the more stuff that you buy. And at the moment, we need to cool it down so that we can bring down these prices, the cost to us on a monthly basis. That's what we need to. That's why you see these increases by the Federal Reserve. The other thing I wanted to talk about, employers and employees don't see eye to eye on how businesses should be run. Amazon wants to bring back everybody into the office, and I can see why. I saw a report yesterday where individuals who are working from home are working for 2 companies at the same time because no one knows. They're working at home. No one sees what they're doing. So you've got these people out there getting 2 salaries from 2 different companies because people, the employer, cannot see what that employee is doing. This is a big problem. So anyway, Amazon employees expressed dismay. They're dismayed. Anger about sudden return to office policy. They don't want to go back. These guys who have moved their lives to lower cost places like Arizona, Nevada, Florida, places like that, Texas, especially Texas. The bosses say, hey, you got to come back to work. We allowed you to be at home during the pandemic. But now we want you to come back to the office. It's time. It's time to be productive. It's time that we can monitor what you are working on, what you're doing during that 8 hours that you're supposed to be working. For one company, not for two companies at the same time. Individuals who express this type of attitude have got to realize that the honesty of most of us is not altogether there. Our ethics is not altogether there. And what you're doing at home may only be 20 or 30% of what you should be really working on. So, Amazon people are dismayed. They're upset, they're angry. So they all formed this organization and writing letters to senior management saying they do not agree with this policy change. Tough luck. You don't get to choose. You're not running the company. Okay, you don't own the company. Don't you get kind of dismayed at people sometimes with the attitude that, hey, this is all about me? I don't know if I would want that kind of an employee. If I hire an employee, I want them to be fully focused on my business. I want them to bring something into the office that they can be very productive and do something great for the company. That's the kind of individual I want. If it's all going to be about you, as a matter of fact, I would, at one point in time, I had a large call center in the Philippines. And we hired, 300, 400 people at a time. And one of the questions I would always ask them is, what are you going to provide me? What are you going to give me? Now, they would always come back. Some of them would come back and say, how much am I going to get paid? That was the first question. How much am I going to get paid? Not about what they could do for me, not about what their experience levels were, not about their expertise, nothing about that. It was about how much that they were going to get paid. You know what? That person never got hired. Because he never was able to prove to me that he was going to benefit my company. It's a selfish mode that all of us Americans have gotten into. It's all about me. We got to get away from that, people. We got to get away from that. America is the best country, and we have the best companies here. Let's do our best to do the best that we can do. Listen, if you'd like to have more contact with me, you can go to my website at www.lodge-co.com. Again, that's www.lodge-co.com. If you would like to send me a business question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. If you'd like to support my program, go to buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. All my blogs, all my podcasts are there. Now, everybody go out and have a great day. Hey, San Francisco, get on some warm coats. You're going to get some snow. I'd like to see you slide down Market Street, California Street. Come on, let's do it. This is Mike Lodge. Talk with you soon. God bless you and love you all. Bye-bye.